Yeah, please.
Hmm?
You have to put the TV off
Okay.
during the section because of copyright issue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good.
Even if the audio is not showing, it's a problem. Even if
Visual
The
copyright.
visual is visual.
That's the
Even if the audio is not coming out, that's the visual.
switch this thing. Yeah, you go,
Because
sir.
I know it's about stream.
Change it
Check,
now, there is
check.
10 minutes there. How far are we like?
Yeah.
Please confirm YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Let's go.
Which one? Which website? Where?
All platforms.
On Facebook.
I'm getting that feedback.
Yeah.
That mic, that mic.
Something interwave.
Yes.
Interwaving with what?
Or is this fan?
Hold on.
What's making us cooking noise? Like whistle. How whistle?
Like a
It's
feedback.
a feedback from one of the mics.
Am I wearing
I
a new
don't
one?
like it.
No.
Hmm?
This is your mic.
Hope you're not like it. Hope you're not like it.
Why do you
That's what? Facebook?
Yes, yes.
Check Instagram now.
Instagram.
No, man.
Yes, you're like on Instagram.
So can we?
Check YouTube.
This laptop is not charging. Stop lock, wasn't it?
make it? Yes, sir. Okay. Off
Yes. Yes. I'm getting audio, but it's like a general audio.
for YouTube. And that's because we know
Not connected with
no
sound.
power and audio. Where's our second mic?
So, see the
So
second
should I add a phone clap to
Phone?
clap? Like you attach it here and put the phone anywhere to the light.
To the light.
Yes. Like I'm asking if I should add it.
On that phone?
No, a phone clap, like a holder.
Why?
I'm asking if you need it.
What will you?
No, 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 no.
Yes, please, that's all.
Okay. Okay, that's different.
Yes, different.
Mm.
Just that it's an added advantage. You don't have too many stars.
So you can put the can be on the
You
table.
can, no, you add it to the lights. You're
Okay.
putting it from afar.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
trying to
that's
put
also
things together also. Like they can type on your one.
Well, do you want to confirm now? We like the confirm.
We are live
on
The
YouTube.
audio.
Live on
It's the
Instagram.
audio. Now that you just speak to it.
It's good.
It speaks just process.
Yes. On Instagram.
Everybody.
Yes.
No. Presently on Instagram, it's just okay. My boss is not saying anything, so I can hear boss.
Sir, please, can you say something?
Testing. Testing.
It's good.
Yes.
Oh, Facebook has not responded yet. Is this personal page or is this page on personal account? Oh no. Yes.
Can we go send the Telegram? Then you can fix it.
This number is page. Is this number 6 page?
Mm-hmm.
On Telegram.
Facebook, yes. We're looking on TikTok. And we're looking on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram and TikTok.
Go live.
Yes, hope it's good.
Okay.
Go live.
Telegram.
Check audio.
Yes.
What?
So I'm live on Telegram.
Where is the
This is Telegram.
Instagram?
Yes, sir.
Where's the platform? Instagram or Facebook?
What's it on Facebook?
Yeah, just like doing this. Doing the mentorship.
Jen, are you using TikTok?
Two yes. Yeah, just yes.
Mike,
Sorry?
what happened to the mic?
Correct. And the TikTok phone.
Like,
Yeah, just drop
You-
it. Drop it on top of the laptop. That's a good place now.
I'll put this on there. And hope. Please, can you hold me? Can you see this answer?
Is that a checklist? Refresh this.
I've done that.
Wait, what's the notification?
It's live. We're live on Facebook.
Yes, that's right.
Where on Facebook?
Scroll down. Stop.
Mike,
Tell me.
you can drop this TikTok in for me, please.
Yes. Upload the laptop.
Okay, so how are we doing?
You're live.
We're live. Okay, so
You're muted.
I'm muted, right? Hello, everyone.
It's for worship.
Okay, so this one's for where? This one's for what?
This one's for the panel.
This one's for.
For this panel.
How about this one I'm wearing?
That's what it's telling.
Telegram is there
What's one for?
for feedback on people making kids want to ask questions. Or
So this for questions.
yes.
Then this other two are for.
Talk and
Okay, so I'll turn them properly. So can you hear me properly? Just let us know. All right. Okay. Should move it here. Okay. How is the network on Telegram? Can we turn on the TV now, please? Yeah, so how are we doing on TikTok? How are we doing on TikTok? If you're on TikTok, say hi. Our guys are watching. If you're on Instagram, say hi, please. Say hi. Mike, you didn't tell me there was something my baby. It's off, don't worry. Is it there? It's off, right? I come and do it. Okay.
just a God will can see it.
Okay, so Godwin on where? TikTok. You can see Godwin on TikTok. Okay, thank you. And on Telegram, I'm seeing Nehemiah, Nemzi, you're welcome. Henry, I'm seeing Henry TNGT, you're welcome. Obonilo, I think Jonathan, you're welcome. Abel Favor, you're welcome. You're welcome. Who else is here? Mercy, Mercy from prayer team. You're welcome. Mercy has a worship event very soon. Once she's sure the date, we'll share the date with you guys. She's an amazing worshiper, intercessor. Mercy, you're welcome. Isaiah, Isaiah, you're welcome. Dave Uloko, you are welcome. Abigail Iwodi, I'm sure that's my cousin. You're welcome. It's not Abigail Solomon, it's Abigail Iwodi. You're welcome. There's Joseph Increase. You're welcome. I'm seeing my cousin here. Mama, you're welcome. Right. So if you're on YouTube also, please say hi to us. Okay, so can say hi to you. Adetunji Adeyemi, you're welcome. This class almost didn't happen. Oh my God, please help me. This class almost didn't happen. So, yeah, so for those of you who are here, please do share the link with your friends. I'm sure that if you're on the group, they will send you the link now of different platforms. You can just share it on your WhatsApp status so that your friends can be reminded that we are live online. All right. Okay. Let me have a Type-C charger so I can just plug my phone to the laptop to charge since I'm using it for the lecture now. Or let me just use the tablet. Let me see if I can use the tablet. see. Hmm. Okay. Dufanta. Is that Dufanta I'm saying? Dufanta, you're welcome. Ekondu Wisdom, you're welcome. Omori Jade Jeffrey, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're all welcome. So let me just put this here. This will help too. Okay, good. So we had some questions from the last class that were unable to answer the last time. And please, if you can hear me clearly, please let us know if you can hear us clearly from all platforms. Facebook, are we on Facebook?
Yes.
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube and Telegram. Please, if you can hear us clearly, please do let us know, okay? And if there are any concerns, please do share it on the group chat with us so that we can quickly address it. Right? So last month we spoke on profit and profiting part 2, and we had a very remarkable session, I would say so. And I think the profit and profiting session is something that if you were not in those classes, you should go listen to them. That is for the month of March and February. I think so, yeah, for those 2 months. So those videos should be on our YouTube channel. Try to go watch them. They are very profound, I promise you, okay? And when we're done, we had some questions, and I wasn't able to answer all of them. So I'm going to try, as our usual way to recap, I'll try to answer some of those questions. For one of the questions that we got from a gentleman, he sent us some voice notes. I like his question, so I'm going to bring it up, explain to us, and then we'll address it. Then we have 2 other questions here, which we will try to address as well. All right. Yeah. So let me just explain, since the other one is a voice note, let me just explain the question. So he has an investment and he's partnering with his uncle, and he's giving him some money for quite a while, and the uncle remits profit to him at agreed intervals. And his question is that should he continue partnering with his uncle, or should he withdraw the funds from his uncle and do the business himself, even though he has tried to do the business himself and he has not done so well in that attempt. However, at some point he tried to move the money to his in-law, and the in-law squandered the whole money or lost the whole money. 3 million naira was gone, right? So, and he also thinks that the uncle sometimes uses the money for his own personal things. However, when he asked the uncle for the money to be returned, the uncle returned the money back to him without hesitation. And that's when he gave the money to the in-law, and the in-law, lost the money. So his question is that should he continue with his uncle, or should he do it on his own or continue with his uncle? Yeah. So that's basically the crux of the question, okay? His number 2 question was, what do I think about building a house in Lagos and putting it up for rent? All right, that's the number 2 question. Samson, you're welcome. AKT, you're welcome. All right, so those are the 2 questions, basically. So I made some notes here because, while he was speaking, it was about 5 minutes voice note. So I made some notes. I'm going to try to respond from the notes. So number 1, my first response to him was that, does he have a better application for that money? So let's assume that the amount in view is 3 million. Since he said he gave 3 million to his in-law and the in-law lost the money. So I'm assuming that it is 3 million or more. So my first question to him as a feedback would be, does he have a better application for that money? Is there something else he could have done with that money to give him better profit? Is there other things in his purview, not abstract, something that is touchable, feelable, present, that he can do right now with the same amount that will give him a better result? If the answer is yes, then that will be a good consideration. If the answer is no, then you have it. He has his answer. It's best to leave the funds with his uncle. My number 2 response to him is that given that he gave the 3 million to his brother-in-law or to his in-law, and the in-law lost the money, it simply means that the uncle provides a safer option of investment, because he's not just dealing with his uncle, he has tried someone else, and his attempt with somebody else has obviously failed. So there is some sense of security and safety with his investment with his uncle. And if you're an investor, that's a big deal. Is when you invest as an investor, you are first checking, of course, what the returns are. But more important than the return is the security of the platform upon which you are investing. It could be 3 million, it could be 300,000, it could be 30 million, it could be 3 billion. It doesn't matter. The first thing is, what does this investment bring back? The second thing is, how safe is my investment? You see? Now, in this scenario, we know that the investment is bringing in a decent yield to this gentleman, okay? And we also know that there's a lot of safety and security in the investment, especially because at some point he asked the uncle to return the money back so he can give to his in-law, and the money was returned back without question. That shows that there's a lot of safety and security. And I think that if that is the case, then it merits that the investment is left with the uncle. My number 3 thought was that, are the profit margins healthy in the view of the investor? Is he happy with the profit margins? I know that from his question, he thinks it can be better. And many times, the pursuit for higher returns is what brings us to unhealthy risk in investment, because we want a higher return. So we now damage or destroy a platform that gives us a sure return for more return. Is that making sense? So when you are leaving a sure return for more return, you expose yourself to the risk of losing everything. So if his sure return has good margins, I would rather he stays with a sure return than with more return. So that is something to look at. So my question is the profit margin that is sure a good margin? If it's a good margin, stay with this margin, because this is a sure return, even if it's not more returns, right? Number 4 thought on that question, which will be my last thought on the question, is that you must factor in the time capital. When you give money to someone to invest for you, what they do is that they invest their time along with your money. You gave the money, but they are giving time. So the reason why I can't invest my time in some investments is because it's not worth my time. So there are time capitals that are higher than the financial returns that they bring. So if the time capital required for the return that this is bringing transcends the expected returns, then it's safer to keep allowing the uncle invest the time capital. Let's even assume that he wants to do it himself, which he has said in his voice note that he tried it and it didn't work well, even when he did it himself. So even if he was able to do it himself and get better money, my question would be that, is he willing to put in the time that it takes? And the time that it takes, is it worth the returns that he's getting? Because many times it's not, I promise you, okay? So those are my 4 thoughts. And I think that this question and these answers needs to be done separately. I really feel that people need to hear the feedback to this as a very different clip, right? So to the second question about building and renting, so I wanted to talk about this more because part of the conversation today is savings an investment. So his question is that with all that's going on in Lagos, he spoke about Lagos specifically. Do I think that it is okay to build a house and put it up for rent? So let me begin by personalizing my response. First response is that I wouldn't do that anymore. I've had buildings before that were put on rent for years, maybe 4 or 5 years. But as I have grown as an investor, building a house to put on rent has become a bad investment. And let me give some kind of premise to that. The reason why I say that is not to say that rent is bad. Please never judge the statement to think that to build to rent is bad. For some people, it's the best way to build. You build and you rent. But personally, in view of where we are now in our growth process, building to rent is a bad investment for me. Because let's say, for example, I build a house where? What do you call it? Huh? Makurdi, Abuja? Let's call it where? Makurdi. Let's say I build a house in Makurdi. What's the average rent for a 2-3 bedroom? Let's say 1 million. It's 800,000 to 1 million for a 2 bedroom in Makurdi, right? Yes. Is it low or high?
No, that's fine now. Before it's not like that.
Yeah, it was way before, like 200K. Now it's 1 million. Yeah. So an average 2 bedrooms in Makurdi is about 1 million. Now let's assume that I put in 15 million to build a 2 bedroom, right? And I give it out for 1 million a year. Let's say the land and the building comes to, let's say 15 million, or let's say 18 million. I don't know. Or maybe 20 million. Let's say 20 million because of the land, right? Even if you can buy a land and build 4 of that, you could buy a land for like 20 million, 30 million, and build 2 or 3 or 4 units of 2 bedrooms. So let's assume that one of the unit costs you about 15 million to build, and you're renting each one for 1 million a year. It means that you get your return on investment around 15 years without factoring in the value of inflation for that investment. Let's assume that it is measured strictly on the premise of what you spent when you built it. So if you go by that, the basic expectation is that you need averagely 15 years to recoup your money. Now, for example, we own a restaurant in Makurdi, and I can't give you figures, but I can tell you for a fact that we do, let's call it even 1 million. Let's not say 1 million. Let's say 1 million. Let me not call figures. Let's say we do 1 million profits every month. And let's say I put in additional 10 million on the investment, because let's say I built the place for the same 15 million, but I use another 10 million to buy the fridge, to buy the food display, and everything else. So let's call the investment 25 million. Let's even call it 30 million. Can we call it 30 million? Let's even say I spend double to build a restaurant. Okay? So if it's 30 million and I'm making 1 million, let's even bring it low to a very simple business, someone who is not very known, who is trying to start from scratch, and the person is making even 500,000 a month. If you add that into a year, what does that come to? 6 million a year. It means that that person will recoup his or her investment in about 4 to 5 years. Is that making sense to you now? And this is the modest of the modest projection. An ideal projection would be 1 million a month. If you go by that, the person will recoup the money in less than 3 years, as against 15 years of rent. Is that making sense to you? Are we okay? Are you guys good? So now the other side to this perspective is that in one scenario, you make money after every 30 days. In the other scenario, you make money after every 360 days. Which one will you take? So let's even assume that, which is not possible, but let's even assume that on your 2 bedrooms in Makurdi, they are paying you the same 6 million to 10 million every year, which is not possible. But let's even assume that the projected income for both investments is the same, as much as the capital required is the same. But in one scenario, you get 500,000 every month. In the other scenario, you get 6 million after 12 months. Which one will you take? Exactly. So these are just some generic reasons why I will not vote to build a house and rent it. Now, this is a clause, and I'm going to teach this in a future seminar, I think sometime in July. The clause here is that if you want to build to rent, then the rent cannot be your business. You didn't get that too. Okay, have we begun the lecture? Okay, this is still recap. So this has to be a bit of its own place. So if you're going to build a house to rent, the house you are building to rent, the rent that you are getting cannot be the business. It is the asset of the investment that must become your business. Is that I have 15 million naira now, and I don't want to leave the 15 million in the bank. So I would rather put it in the building, because if you put 15 million in the building in this year, in 5 years, the building will be worth 2 or 3 times the value. If you put 15 million in the bank, after 5 years, it will be 15 million. In fact, it will have been devalued going by the projections of naira and dollars as it is for the past few years. All right. So I would rather put the money in the building investment, put 20 million in a house, knowing that in 4 years' time, that building will become 40 million. Is that making sense to you? So that means the actual business is in the value of the assets and not in the value of the rent. So if I want to build a house, which I will build to rent, but not for myself. Let's say, I don't talk about myself, so just look, I'm sharing my plans. Let's assume someone wants to build a house in the name of their children. I say, I want to build a house. I have 3, 4, 5 children, but I want to build 5 houses for my children. It's just be in their names. You see, you've put that 100 million in those buildings for the children so it can be for the future 10 years from now. In 10 years from now, that building that you put 100 million in can be worth 1 billion. So the actual investment is for the children, and the business of that investment is not the rent. It is the value of the assets. So that makes sense. So if you are doing construction in that sense, knowing that the actual business is in the value of your assets, then that makes sense. And if you don't have that devotion to run a business, because for some of you, you don't have what it takes to run a restaurant. So instead of going to build a restaurant, you would rather just build a house and rent it and just collect your 1 million every year. For me, I can't imagine. I can't wait for 12 months to collect 1 million naira. And if you know how tenants are, they'll tell you, okay, plumbing is bad. And they'll tell you, our meter is not working. You go to other drama, then you now wait for 12 months. You collect 1 million. Let's say you have 4 of them, they'll not pay you 4 million. Then you now wait another 12 months for another 4 million. So if you're doing that, I don't think it makes sense if the core investment is just the rent. I think that if you want to go into building to rent, they should do so with the mindset that the asset is the business. Does that make sense? Okay, so I've answered those questions. Can I try to answer those other 2 questions very quickly? Then we'll go to the main lecture for today. Sorry, I'll go to the chats on our group. So we have 2 questions. Yeah. So question number 1 is, at what point in the level of growth of a new business can one begin to think of investing in another business? At what point in the level of growth of a new business can one begin to think of investing in another business? It's very simple. It's at a point where the current business has built a sustainable structure. If one business has not built a sustainable structure, why are you going to the next one? How do you sustain the one you're living? Right? Especially because you are saying that the business has attained a level of growth. If you're saying that the business is not doing well and you want to abandon it and begin a new one, that makes sense. But if you want to run multiple businesses, then you need to be sure that you've built a sustainable growth. And how do you test, sustainable structure? How do you test a sustainable structure? A structure that is sustainable is proven to be tested when you are needed less. Once you are required to be active less in that business, then the business has built a structure that does not require your attention. That is how you test the growth of the business. If the business still requires you to be involved in every single move, then you may want to wait a bit longer, because if you open multiple businesses, how do you share yourself across all of these needs for attention? Like I said in the earlier feedback about time capital, you have to be careful about the time capital required per business. So if you have a business that requires so much time capital from you, it's not safe to open and start another business. And if you have not built enough structure for one business and you want to move to the next one, then you must be sure that the nature of the first business does not require that much time capital from you. Does that make sense? For example, if I buy Okada bikes to give out, it's a business that I have. That business does not require time capital from me besides every now and then calling the bike rider. That is probably 30 minutes daily. Am I correct? So the time capital required is not so much that it allows me to run other businesses. But if the person that owns the business is the one riding the bike, it's still bike business, but the narrative has changed. The biker that owns the bike requires a lot of time capital to keep the business running. So he can't run the bike business riding his bike and doing something else until he builds it enough to hand over the bike to somebody else, where the business now runs without him before he can do so. Is that making sense? All right. So that's something to really consider. I have a niece who is in Abuja now, but she has a business in Benue State. And she's able to come here because she has set up a structure in Benue that the business in Benue can run without her attention. So she's in Abuja doing her stuff, but the Benue business is running without her involvement. Does that make sense? So have I answered the question? Good. So question number 2. Is it a normal thing to not want to dwell so long in celebrating small wins? More like thinking about the next problem to solve immediately after you have succeeded in solving the last one. So what I was saying in that regard is that celebrate small wins. Like you said, you can't invest too much time in celebrating small wins, but you should celebrate every win. Every win should be celebrated, and maybe a better word is appreciated and acknowledged. You need to know when you are winning and be grateful for when you are winning. The best celebration for a win is gratitude. Write it down. The best celebration for every win is a sense of gratitude. The second most important way to celebrate a win is memory. Write it down. So the first way to celebrate a win, a victory, is gratitude. The second important thing is to remember. Because when you go to doing other things, you may face battles and challenges that will make you forget your previous wins. And you will think that nothing is working for you only because you forgot that you have been winning. And you can't allow one failure undo 5 wins. So you must be grateful for the places you have won and learn to remember that you won. Because the memory of the times that you win will help you stay strong in the times that you fail. Does that make sense? You know that part of the contention that God had with the children of Israel is that he kept saying, you forget. You did not remember that I delivered you from the land of Egypt. Now you are hungry for 2 days. You are insulting me. You are thirsty for a few hours and you are angry. Meanwhile, I gave you mighty, bigger deliverances just recently. So the real issue was that when the children of Israel were delivered from Egypt, they were grateful. But they forgot the victory. So you can be grateful and forget victory. So you want to make sure that as much as you are grateful, find a system that helps you to remember your victories. Because when the chips are down, you need to remember that you have won before. And if you have won before, you can win again. All right? Say, preach, preacher. Thank you. All right, so I think that's all for the recap. Abigail, I think that we're good. That's 30 minutes. Jennifer, we're good. 30 minutes recap is good. 28 minutes recap. So, we have like 3 different lectures in this recap. Huh? So take note. Uncle Mike, right? Yeah. So, let's go to the real lecture of today. The real lecture of today is savings and investments. All right? And some of you may be asking the question, like, do I save or do I invest? Because I think that usually those sort of questions do pop up many times. Sometimes when we hear lectures about savings, it sometimes sounds like it's better to save than to invest. And then when you not hear lectures about investments, it sounds like it's better to invest than to save. And for some people, they can't even relate with the concept of investment because they are like, those who invest are those who can buy land. It's like if you can't buy land, you can't invest. It's like the only investment there is owning land. And I think that's a huge misconception, especially with the rise of a lot of these real estate developers and this promoted concept of land banking that's everywhere, like buy a land for 1 million today to become 1 billion tomorrow. If it was like that way, everybody will sell their children and buy land. Forgive my saying, but I don't think it's that easy. And number 2, I don't think that the only investment there is investment in lands. And also, I don't think that only those who can buy lands are those that are qualified for investment. And I know that many of you are asking, like, what can I do? I want to know, do I put the emphasis on my savings or do I put the emphasis on investments? All right. And there are a lot of things that I would have loved to say in this regard, but I just want to be careful not to sound overly religious in the matter. But let me just begin by saying, please, if you're writing, write this down, that you can turn the hands of poverty and negative patterns on the wings of savings and investments. I don't sound spiritual, but if Mike now say, preach Papa, I might just... But I can give you scriptural proofs, but I don't go spiritual, okay? But you can literally turn the hands of poverty and unhealthy patterns. And when I'm saying unhealthy patterns, I'm even saying ancestral patterns, family patterns of lack and poverty. You can bend the hands of poverty. You can bend it by the force of savings and investments. My point is to say that regardless of your earnings and your status or your business, there are principles of savings and investments that can unlock the doors that businesses cannot unlock. We just came out of a discussion on profits and profiting. This is like, look at the camera so it will make your video nicer. So, part of the things that we discussed in profits and profiting is that not every profit profits. That you made money, that you made gain, that you made money does not mean the money will make you. Right? When you make money, the goal is that the money should add value to you. The money should make you. The money should make something beautiful in you and for you. So you can run a business and make millions and millions, but the business will lose merit without the partnership with savings and investments. You may have a good job that pays you remarkable salaries, but without partnership and alignment with savings and investments, you can remain in perpetual poverty. So, savings and investments, and I'm saying these two intentionally the way I'm saying. I'm not saying investments and savings. The hierarchy with which I am calling them is very intentional. Savings and investments have the potential to break patterns. Oh my God. There was a consistent pattern in Joseph. See, I'm going scriptural now. That almost seemed like he was cursed. He was sold. He became a slave. Then he became a prisoner. But when he was appointed a prime minister, the wings that took him high was not just the appointment. Because he has been promoted before. Even in Potiphar's house, he was promoted. But there was something he lacked. The skill and the wisdom for savings and investments. The thing that Joseph provided to Pharaoh was a strategy for savings in the 7 years of plenty that literally bent the hands of prophecy. That the 7 years that was meant for lack became the 7 years of the highest prosperity for Pharaoh. Because Joseph created a system of savings and investment. You say investment, why? I will tell you why. Because he first began to build storage houses. What do you call that? That is investments. So the storage house is a built structure. If you were in Egypt and you saw that every government property and project is a storage house, would you go and build one? That there must be an investment. There's something going on that Pharaoh and Oga Joseph are building storage everywhere. In Kaduna, in Sokoto, because you have to build it in different cities. Because back in the day, you can't move all the food to just one point in Egypt. So they have to build storehouses in different places. So he began a real estate investment, but a storage business. So it means that if you live in Egypt and you had a storage house, when Pharaoh was done filling his own, you'd have come to rent your own to store. And then in that same place, Joseph began to save grains. And eventually, even when the years of scarcity came, he began to collect lands. You see that now? He now began to use his current investment to multiply more investments. So he turned the hands of prophecy. 7 years of plenty, 7 years of lack never happened for Pharaoh, even though that was the vision he saw. He had 7 years of plenty and 7 years of excess because somebody learned the wisdom of savings and investment. He changed the pattern of poverty and suffering he had just by saving. Everybody had the same harvest. The difference was that he saved more. In the same office, you are in Egypt. That your office is Egypt. All of you are there. The way that you are farming corn, that's how the other person is farming corn. The difference is that one person has a system of savings better than the other person. So, having established that, let us bring some definition. This lecture may have many parts because I will do just 40 minutes on this lecture. So, we can't even go halfway on this lecture in 40 minutes. So, next month, we'll continue. Whenever we have the next class, we'll just continue until we exhaust the lecture. All right? Speaking about next month, Jennifer is eyeing me. So we're not sure that we can promise that every single month we will have mentorship class. But we can promise that we're going to have, Abigail, right? We're going to have mentorship class as often as we can. My schedule is really, really tight, and it's becoming more and more difficult to do this classes every month. But whenever I'm chanced and whenever I'm with the team, we'll just send you a flyer, 1 or 2 or 3 days notice, we'll have a class. It may not be monthly. It may even be twice a month. All right, but it may no longer be monthly. And I have a good news for you guys soon. Stay tuned about TNGT 2026. So don't go anywhere. All right. Yeah. So let's begin to define the terms. So let's start with investments. You have to write this down. So I'm going to say this as slowly as possible. Investment is engaging financial resources or other forms of resources for both present and future increased and improved benefits. I know it's a long definition, but if you read it again, it will make sense. Investment is when you engage financial resources, primarily financial resources. But it's not limited to only money. There are other things that you can invest. That's why I said investment is engaging financial resources and other forms of resources. Is that clear? So when you engage your financial resource or other forms of resources, it could be goodwill, it could be kindness, it could be relationship. I see what I'm saying now. Those are intangible investments. So once you invest financial resource or any other kind of resource, tangible or intangible, for present and future increased and improved benefit, that is investment. Like the scripture will say, give and it shall be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. So it's like you give and it comes back to you in an improved form. That is a definition of what investment looks like. So you can invest your time, for example, to learn a skill. Abigail just did HR. What did you wrote an exam recently? What was it?
Chartered Institute of Personnel Management.
Of what?
Chartered Institute of Personnel Management.
So she just put some time to learn personnel management. You invested money, right, to pay for the course. Am I correct? You also invested other forms of resource like time. Am I right? So that is for a future, a present. So you know better now, and then it opens better doors for you in the future. So just doing that online course is an investment of time. In some other cases, it's an investment of money. But the clear objective is that there's going to be present and very likely future benefits that comes in both an increased measure and an improved measure. Is that clear now? Number 2 definition would be a definition on savings. What is savings? So for savings, in the context of our time, we're not living in the days of Joseph. So we're not saving just grains, right? So for the purpose of this class, the savings here is going to be mainly financial, okay? So savings is money that you set aside from, very critical, ready with bold letter, from available resources. Because some of you are saving money you don't have. You are asking your daddy, daddy, please give me money, I want to save. That's not how to save. So savings is money set aside from available resources, available financial resources, with the objective of solving future needs and creating or embracing future opportunities. Hi. I wish I was writing. So savings is when you set aside. That's the first thing here. Is what? To save. I will come to this. the first thing you want to take note of here is that there's a setting aside. And I'll explain that further in this lecture, where the concept of the set aside comes from. You can't set aside from something that does not exist. And that's what we said. Savings is money set aside from available resources. And it has a clear objective. It is to solve future needs. It may not be for investments. It could be to pay your children's school fees. It could be to pay your rent. It could be to buy a new car that you need for your job. So, unlike investments, where the real objective of investment is improved benefits, for savings, one of the key objectives is to solve future needs. And it also helps you to create and embrace. Write those two words down. Again, put it down in different writing. Put create, embrace. And those two words are written intentionally. Because there are opportunities that you create when you have extra cash. You can only create them because of the extra cash that you have. My niece, who just moved to Abuja, for example, was able to do that because she had extra cash. You can't do that if you don't have extra cash. However good your idea is, if you have no savings to run back to, you can do that. I have another niece, who's a daughter again to me, who is trying to move to a new building. She can't attempt to do that if there are no savings. So you can create opportunities, and then you can also embrace opportunities. For example, the gentleman who gave his uncle money for an investment was able to embrace that opportunity only because he had money on ground. Is that making sense to you? Some of you make the mistake that looks very noble, which is plunge back all your money into your investment. Have you heard that before? You know, I put all my profit back into my investment. It usually sounds very noble until it's no longer noble. Because some of you have done businesses for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you can't boast of 500,000 naira. It's looking like your stock has increased, but you cannot respond to any opportunity because you're not liquid. The business has not improved your prospects. If you are doing a business, the outcome of the business should improve your prospects. To say that there is the possibility that I have to make a thing happen on the premise of the returns I have made from that business. Does that make sense to you? But if all the prospects that you have is, I put the money back into my business. I bought 10 shoes before, I sold it, and now I bought 15 shoes. I sold it, I've now bought 20 shoes, I've sold it, and every single time you are looking for more money to buy more shoes, to sell more shoes. Every single time you are looking for more money to buy more shoes, to sell more shoes. Every time we see you, you are looking for more money to buy more shoes, to sell more shoes. You have lived in the same house for 10 years. You are wearing the same shoe for 10 years. You have not bought anything new. Nothing has changed about your life. You are still at the same level, but you have 40 shoes to sell. The outcome of a present business should improve the prospect of future opportunities. So, however much you want to plunge your profit back into your business, there must be something set aside. Because however good your business is, there are better businesses. And you can't embrace or create those opportunities if you don't have a savings to use to engineer that. Yeah. So I've defined both investments and savings. So the next question I want to ask is, which of the two is better? Savings and investments. I know some of you are thinking, okay. So I can save money and I can solve needs and create and embrace opportunities, or I can invest money for future increase and improved benefits. So which is better? Ira? No, I'm not saying for a start. Which is better? If you have to choose one, which is better? I'm asking those of you on the group. I answer. Which is better? Do you save or do you invest? So should I answer?
Yes.
All right. So this is my answer, and please write this down to change your life. To change your life. Savings is a type of investment. An investment is a type of savings. There are ways that you save that the savings become the investment. Since investment allows for increased and improved benefits, there are ways that you save that the savings increases improved benefits. Is that sitting down well? An investment is also a type of savings. Because when you invest, you are hiding money in a tangible thing. You are exchanging the mode of the currency. Oh my God. So you've taken 1 million naira from a cash currency and you buy, for example, gold. It's a different currency. You take 1 million naira as a cash currency and you buy ram, or you buy rice, or you buy palm oil as an investment. You've converted the currency, but the value is still there. Am I correct? So when you invest money or you buy land, for example, you have not lost the money. The money is there, but you have saved the money in an investment. If you are like me, I preach against myself sometimes. When I say something, which I'll say here, when I say things like, some of you, when you see money, your mind will do you, tell. Is me. I am the one. Right? So if you're like me and you find it difficult to just leave money, learn money rest, which we're going to talk about shortly. So what I do is that when money comes into my hand, I invest it. And when I invest the money in properties or whatever I do, is my own way of saving money. I bought a land a few years ago for, let me give simple examples. I try to give examples that don't intimidate people, okay? So you don't feel like it's not for me. I want you to think it's for you. I got a land some years ago for 16 million. A short while later, I sold it for almost 40 million. Is that good savings? I sold it maybe like 5-6 years ago. This was a long time ago. So I got another land for 3 million. It was recently priced at 40 million. I bought it for 3 million. Is that good savings? Right? Hope is here. We're trying to sell one of our properties here in Abuja because we tried to do some business in the building and the business didn't work. But the property is also part of the business. Like I said earlier, you can have the asset as part of the business. So even though the business in the building failed, the building did not fail. And the selling of the building now will help me restore and recover the investment made. So whatever I put in the building and in the business, in a way, I saved it. And I can get it back. I can convert it back to cash. So savings is a type of investment. If you do it properly, an investment is a type of savings if you do it properly. So the common denominator between savings and investment is future benefits. The reason why you can't say one is better than the other is because there's a common denominator. The objective of savings and investment look alike so much that they have a common denominator, and it's for future benefits. So when you save for future benefits and you invest for future benefits, the objective is one. So there are basically two vehicles driving towards one location. That makes sense? We've done 25 minutes already. So this is just introduction. So I'm gonna try to start. So that there are three different compartments to this lecture. The first compartment is savings. The second compartment is investments. Then I will touch a little bit on portfolios. And in that portfolio, I will talk more on assets. And you will understand asset from a whole different light, not buying of land. There are many other assets. So, oh my God. So my worry now is that we can begin the discussion on savings, but we can't go far on it. It's going to be like we're just entering. So wherever I stop, please forgive me because we can't go too deep in it for the time we have. All right. So savings, that's the first entry point in this lecture. Savings. Write this down. The true value of savings derives its merits from the habit of savings and not the volume of savings. The true value of savings derives its virtues, its merits from the habit of savings, not from the volume of savings. So the first thing you want to learn about savings is not what you save. It's how you save. The real savings by nature is culture built. So the way to measure the savings character is not in how much Abigail has saved. It is how does Abigail save. Do you think that the real merit of Joseph's victory was in the volume of the grains he saved at once? No, now. This was a savings across 7 years. There was a technicality to the savings that had to secure it in a repeated form. Because while you save, you must still consume. You are not saving at the expense of consumption, and you are not consuming at the expense of savings. You are consuming while you save, and you are saving while you consume. That is a science that Joseph had to bring balance to. That we need to produce enough that we can eat and produce enough that we can keep. And there must be a system that allows us to keep gradually until we keep enough. The reason why most people don't save is that they want to save big. You see that now? You want to save big. When I was growing up, like many of you here, we had a kiosk around my house. And like many of you, most of those kiosks were owned by Igbo men. And these Igbo men, I don't know about your own Igbo man in your neighborhood. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a law. These Igbo men always wear bathroom slippers. Have you noticed it?
Yes.
I don't know about your area. Me, I grew up in Otupo, but it was an Igbo man that owns the kiosk around our house. They always wear bathroom slippers. That's sign number one. Sign number two is that they ride a bike. A bike. Yes, yeah, or shorts. 3/4 trousers or shorts. And then the bike is not even the Jincheng big one. Is that ladies, what you call ladies' bike. And then the ladies' bike usually have only one seat. The back one is iron. Prophetic accuracy. But that same guy, you notice that across the years, his 12-year-old child sold in that shop. His 8-year-old child sold in that shop. Then if you check 10 years later, the children are now in London. And then you now find out that that Igbo man has a house in the village, a duplex. But he's selling matches, Maggi. Are you follow what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, the reason why they have built such an enterprise is not from the money they are making, is that they have a system of a setting aside that is consistent and productive. How do you sell matches and build a mansion? It's because there's a system, a gradual system. And you know that the system is not that they are putting it back in their business, because they didn't increase that shop for 15 years. The kiosk by my house, in 20 years, was never increased. The same size, but consistent. What you get is what you get. He will never say, I want to expand, let me break, I will rent the next shop and break and open. Even the next shop is empty. You won't rent it. You will also hear that the man has 4 shops in town. You will not hear it. But he has built a mansion from selling matches. Then you are earning salary every month, say, I cannot save. The man is selling matches. He has built a house. Because the true value of savings derives its virtues and merits from the habit of savings and not the volume of savings. Is that you are able to do this thing all the time, in spite of your needs, in spite of your earnings. It is the culture to save that first validates the merit of saving. And however you choose to save, in cash or in kind, but you are constantly devoted to the science of set aside. You follow what I'm saying right now? You are committed to the wisdom of setting aside. So the first principle of savings is that the true value of savings derives its virtues from the habit of savings and not from the volume of savings. Number 2 is that if you are not making more money, save more money. One of the way, Uncommon Common Sense, yes, it's in the book. One of the ways to make more money without making more money is saving money. I'll say it again. One of the ways of making more money without making more money is saving money. Come again, please. One of the ways of making more money without making more money is saving money. And I'll explain to you. You know that, let's take a typical example of somebody who's earning how much? 100K. And he or she has a plan of buying a bike of, let's say, a fairly used bike for 500,000. If you earn 100,000, do you have enough to buy a bike of 500,000? Do you have enough? No. So if you want to really buy a bike, you will say to me that I need to make more money to have enough to buy a bike. What if your neighbor who earns 100,000 put aside 20,000 every month? I don't be overly unreasonable to say 50,000. Let's even say 20,000 every month. In 10 months, he has 200,000. In 20 months, he has 400,000. In a few more months, he has 500,000. You have been trying to borrow that same 500,000 for 3 years from your uncle and your enemies. They have not given you yet. And you have been waiting that God will touch the heart of someone to be kind enough, not even dash you the 500,000, to borrow you the 500,000. But in your monthly earnings was the prospect of making more money without making more money. If only you set aside 20,000 naira every month. So you have suddenly become capable of procuring a 500,000 investment, not from making more money, just from saving money. Many things for which we are looking for more money, you can't find it, because the only place, I beg your pardon, you can find it is in the money saved. There are many things you want to do. Some of you want to go back to school and do your master's degree in Covenant University, Lagos. You want to go to Uni Ben or go to anywhere, it doesn't matter, or abroad, it doesn't matter. But you are waiting to make more money before you buy that bike, to buy that keke napep, to buy that, what else? To start a business. And you know that the way the country is going, the man will not increase your salary in 3 years. And your uncle will not help you, because the same country that is biting you is biting him. So while you are waiting for more money, there is a potential and there is a prospect in making more money from the money you can save. And previously we just said that the value of savings is not in the volume of savings, but in the habit of savings. So if you can save 20,000 every month, you will not die. Yes, you say that your cousins need money, your mother needs money, your mother will be okay. Your siblings, they will be okay. So if you're not making more money, save money. That's what I'm saying to you. Because in saving money, money multiplies. It's a mystery, isn't it?
Yes.
That you're not making more money, but that you're saving money, the money is increasing. And you know that money also creates opportunities. So even though you have not raised the 500,000 naira, the 200,000 you've saved can open a door for you that will have that money double in 3 months. It could just be that Jennifer is about to buy a new phone and is looking for 200K quickly to sell her current phone. You can buy that phone very quickly only because you have the 200K. And then when you're done buying it, Hope will buy it off you for 350. That opportunity that has been created and has been embraced is on the premise of the money that has been saved. So you have not made more money, but you have more money because of what you saved. See, you can break the pattern of begging. You know, we began by saying that savings and investment is a force that breaks the patterns of begging and poverty. You don't need to beg, you just have to wait. You see what I'm saying? The things you're begging for, if you commit to saving and you can wait a bit longer, you will retain your dignity from the culture of begging. Just wait in savings. All that Joseph had to do was to wait for the 7 years to pass. It's looking like, okay, we have put money in the banks last year. Oh, we didn't sell anything. He said, no problem, leave it there. Okay, this is 2 years now. We have been storing grains, maize and rice. Nobody has bought it because everybody has rice. Everybody has grains. He said, leave it there. 6th year, 5th year, then 7th year. He said, leave it there. By the 7th year, by the 8th year, by the 9th year, the ones they stored, other people, it has finished. They are not coming. See? He didn't have more harvest than everybody else in Egypt. He just saved consistently for 7 years. And he now looked like he was powerful than the nation. And nations came to the storage of his savings. You know that your uncles can respect you better if you save more. Sila. if only you have savings, you know that's, you see, let me teach you how to borrow money or how to beg. I know some of you don't know how to beg. You know, there's where you will get to that you should not beg for 5K. You know, even if you want to, even if what you need is 5K, you know, you can't beg for the 5K. You know what I'm saying, right? It's not because you need 5K, but on the level you are in, if you don't even beg, you can't even say I need 5K. You say, please, I'm looking for 50,000. Even if you don't have the 50K, maybe 30K is fine. But you know that what you really need is 4,800. Right? But I'm saying to you that you can escape a lot of that if you build a savings culture. We're already 40 minutes in. And this is just so let me take one more point on that savings, then we'll stop for today. Then we'll continue. Alright? Was this already 42 minutes? Let's continue. No. Abigail. We have to take questions. So number 3 now, right? So number 1 is what? The true value of savings derives its virtues from the habit of savings and not the volume of savings. Number 2 is that if you are not making more money, save more money. Number 3 is that if you wait for all the problems to be solved before you save, you will never save. Sila.
What?
Yes. If you are waiting for the problems to finish before you save, you will never save, and I'll tell you why. Do you want to know why? Write it down. Problems run faster than money. Problems. Have you noticed that? You were praying that the day you make 1 million, your life has permanently changed. The very morning, the money came, 1,930,000 a.m. By 11 a.m., your problem moved to 1.2. Even the night you slept before, you didn't have that problem. Anyhow you want to run, money cannot outrun problems. I'm telling you. Dangote has problems. So. The way that you escape the problem is in the ways of Joseph. That you set aside to a degree that the weight of your savings crushes your problems. But if you're waiting for problem to stop, let money pass, it doesn't happen like that too. Money, you will. So number 1 is that Money's problems run faster than earnings. Number two is that problems always appear to outweigh income. It may not even be true, but there is a sense of urgency that comes around problems that make it look like the money will never do, it will never be enough. But if you followed our last lecture, we said if you understand the movement of money, it also helps you prioritize the direction that you allow money to go. But if you study the movement, you realize that some of the things you are trying to pay for can wait. The only reason why you seem to be under pressure all the time, you always seem to be like you are broke all the time, is that you are doing things that are good, but they are not pressing. They can wait. The thing you want to do in April, I promise you, 45% of them may be the only thing required for April. The remaining 55% can wait till June. Not May, June. Some even till September. Some till next year. And if you wait long enough and you realign your savings setting aside, you realize that by that next year, you'll be so bogus in your supplies that the thing that seems so big now will become small then. Not because the thing has shrunk in size, but you have increased in weight on the virtues of your savings. And there's no depletion of your personal value because you waited. You wanted a degree and you wanted to pay 2 million for it now. You can do that same degree next year. Nothing will be less about you if you get it next year. Maybe things may even be better if you wait till next year. So if you wait for all problems to be solved before you save, you will never save. Because problems will always seem to outrun your income. And problems will always seem to outweigh your income. So you don't wait to solve problems before you save. You save, then you solve problems. The same way that we train ourselves, for those of us who have some faith principles, that you don't wait to have enough to give to God. You give to God, then you solve other things. You see? Can I stop now? No, I have to stop now. This right? So by next class, we'll dig deeper again. This is just, we're barely 30% into the savings discussions. But I want you to start thinking about your income now. And one of the ways that you can prove to us in this room that there is a merit in this moment is that you want to ask yourself, from this day, what and how can I start my saving culture? I'm not just saying what do I save, it's how do I save? Because you could save once a quarter, you could save once a week, you can save once a month. So some of you might want to save 10,000 every month, some might want to save 2,000 every week. It's the same thing. You know what I'm saying, right? So it is what you want to save and how you want to save it, but create a culture. It may not be much, don't worry about it. For some of you, you have the money, create a culture. I'm not saying go and form a group before they come and carry your money around. Go and open an account. Yeah, I'm telling you, don't go and say I'm doing an adashi. Ajo. So you can go and open an account. Let me just show you, let me just give you one call to action. Open an account. Not any of these fintech banks. Go and open a proper account in the banking hall. I know why. When you open the account, don't collect an ATM. And don't allow online banking. That account is a no-go area. It is money that you don't have, that you put there. Once you put it there, you don't have it. So it's not like you don't have it. If I remember, maybe you guys remind me, I'll teach you how I'm saving money for our children right now to blow your mind. To our youngest son, who just turned 5. Yes. By God's mercies. To open a I do not have account. Once the money enters it, you don't have it anymore. That's the psychology. So there's no ATM, there's no online transfer. You don't go there. Once that's so, I was teaching someone some days ago to have 3 kinds of accounts. One account is the one you use every day. The other account is the one you save to use. The other one is the one you save to never touch. It's for the future. So I was teaching her that she could put a percentage of her money in one account that she doesn't go there. Like, I do not have account. But she'll put savings again in one other account where she can explore for better opportunities. Let's say somebody just comes up, she can touch it. So let's say you're earning 100K, you can put 15,000 in a do not touch account. You can put a 10K in you can touch account. In that 10K you can touch account is the one that you can build up. Then after a while, if you see something that comes up, you can take from there and do it. But the other one, just lock it there. If you do it for 4 to 6 months, it will become normal to you that. I know some of you will say, okay, let me open with my sister or my brother. Don't do it too. The devil can tempt. All right, please, yeah. So 15 minutes, I have to stop now. All right. Okay, so guys, somebody already has a question here. So this all can take. I'm so sorry. This is already 15 minutes into the lecture. So we'll continue savings and investment in our next lecture. Like I said, there may be part 2, part 3, part 4 of this lecture. It's a very intense lecture. And please, like I said, let there be a call to action. The call to action is that go open a special account for your savings. And then as we progress, you will learn how to invest. Is that okay? All right, guys. So let's take our questions now. Jennifer has a question. You want to come? Okay. This one, right? Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so my question is, if you have like a particular...
See, but the issue that they cannot hear you. Can they hear you? Can they hear those who are online? Yeah.
So my question is, if you have like a particular target, let me say your monthly savings, maybe you have like a target of, let me say, 50,000, and then you have like 70,000, and then you like, you know that it's 50,000 you want to save, but you, let me say
Start again, please.
okay, you have a target that every month you are going to save like 50K in your savings account, and then things went well that month, you got like 70,000, and let me say you are tempted to like save the 70,000. Do you think it's okay for you to save the 70,000, or just keep to that law that it's 50,000 you are going to save for this month because it's 50,000 that you are supposed to save in this month, and then maybe next month you didn't really get to that amount that you save in your account? Like,
so I think that the best way to keep it consistent is to stay with the 50K. When you have the additional 20,000, move it to the you can touch savings. If the goal is to put 50,000 naira in the I do not have savings, it does not exist savings, put the 50K there. The additional 20K should go into you can touch savings, because you want to marry yourself to that devotion. You know how it is when you say, I've stopped drinking Coke. Have you done it before? I've stopped drinking fizzy drinks. I've stopped drinking soda.
Sorry.
Okay? Then you don't say, even though I've stopped for the past 2 weeks, let me just drink 4 bottles today. Let me just drink 4 bottles. I'd rather you drink one bottle every week. Just open your mind and drink one bottle every week. Then you say you have stopped drinking soda, and then the day you drink it, you not drink 4 bottles. Because that 4 bottles you take at a time may be more detrimental to your health than the one you are taking once a week. Is that making sense? So sometimes when you put on yourself the burden of unreasonable targets, there's a likelihood of accommodating excuses for failures. Like since I've saved 70K last month instead of 50K, this month now, if I cannot even save, no problem now. Next 3 months I'll be doing 70 instead of 50. You see, you're already giving room for excuse. The next month comes, you still fail. You now put away 50K. The other month 50K, but you know that you've already failed in 1 month. So if you just stay in that 1 month, there's a way it triggers your mind to commit to that process. So if there's an excess, you find a strategy to accommodate the excess. So you can do the 50K to one account. If there's ever an excess, put it in the you can touch account. So that in the month that you are not able to make up, you cannot touch account, go back to the you can touch account and make it up to. You see what I'm saying? But I feel like for the savings culture, it must be defined for at least the first 6 to 12 months. All right? So if you have a question, please raise up your hand.
There's a question.
Oh, there's a question on Facebook. Okay, let's take it.
It said, how can you
You want to come here?
No, very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph Increase from Facebook. He said, how can you save in kind?
Oh, how can you say we can? So we're going to get to that. First of all, I said earlier that your investment is a kind of savings. You see, so when we go into that, then you can see that the things you do as an investor is a way to save. I can give you a simple example. And it depends on the money you're saving. For someone, it's like I just said, you could buy a phone from a ref for 200,000, sell to home for 250,000. The thing about the phones, I can't keep it for too long. But there are other things you can buy. I don't know about, I don't say things that you now take. I'm going to say, Apeh said. But like grains, for example. People buy grains and store beans, and you can buy and store, right? You can put money, let's say, in farming cassava. It takes 1 year to harvest. It's like a way of saving and enhancing your revenue, because if you put 100K in cassava farming in 1 year, you can sell and make almost double the amount in some cases, depending on the farmer. But one that's most predictable, in my opinion, is like buying gold. That I tell my wife to do, so I can speak about that one with one mind. I tell my wife to buy gold. And you don't need to have too much to buy gold. You can go and buy earrings stored for pure gold. Because they measure it, am I correct? They sell per kilogram, right? Or per grams. Yeah. So gold is a good thing to invest in, for example. Again, you have to be careful where you store it. Okay? But gold increases in value every year. Every year for the past 100 years. So you can invest in a thing like that. That's a way to invest in kind. Let me think of something again more, because the most obvious is the land. You can buy land, okay? But you have to be careful again where you buy. So that's why you see that when I defined savings, it was specific to financial resources. Because I said that it's the most reliable form of savings, right? But you can save in an investment, like buying of lands, buying a car to sell, buying a bike for business. That's also a way to save. So if you look at the definition of savings is a kind of investment, and investment is a kind of savings, then the other ways to save in kind is to invest. Is that clear? All right. So what else?
There are other questions. When we look, said,
Come in.
so the first question is, this person said, our mentor talked about the more you save, the more your purchasing power. So my question is, what if the more you save, the prices of what you want to get continue to increase in price? That's number one question. Then number two, how can one set priorities that will enable one to save?
So, first question, the value of things are going up. So, what if I wanted to buy something for 500k, and then by the time I was done saving, it goes to 700k? The point is that if you don't save, whether it's 500 or 200, you can't buy it. And that's why I use the word prospect. Savings improves your prospect. The thing you can buy when it was 500, if you don't even have the 500, you can't even contemplate it at 700. So savings, however you spend it, even if Naira devalues, God forbid, to 10,000 per dollar, you are still better off that you have something set aside than nothing. Because however your state was without your savings will be greatly improved with your savings. In Nigeria, it's a bit scary because of the devaluation processes, right? But however you want to argue it, for the past 2 years, we have been able to predict the place of dollars and naira. Okay? So if I had begun saving 2 years ago, I would have been okay 2 years after. Dollar was about 1.6 2 years ago. It's 1.4 now. So naira has been quite, it's in a bad place, but not in a worse place. So however there's inflation, it is still better to save than not have a savings at all. Bear in mind that one of the things we're talking about here is savings for future benefits, because you have the option to invest for future benefits. But not everybody can do business, either because they lack the acumen or they lack the time. So some people, it's not because they don't want to do business. They cannot do business. They don't have the acumen for business. So what happens to them? Right? Some of them don't have 20 million to buy land. So what happens to them? There are things they can do, they can become, they can have, that they will never have until they save. Because what they are earning per time cannot afford what they deserve. The only way to afford what they deserve is to keep a portion of what they are earning today for what they deserve tomorrow, however the inflation is. All right? Yeah. Is that making sense? What is that question?
How can one set priorities that will enable one to save?
No, don't set priorities, set goals. It's not priority, set culture. And I'll talk about that later in the lecture, how to be self-motivated for savings. Come for the next class. So the goal is, for this class, is to set an objective, and then set a practical, possible structure for savings. Like we said, you must not save big at a time. Just save consistently, however small it is. So that should be the first thing you do. Decide how much can you set aside. Let's begin with that this class. The next class we'll talk about how to self-motivate yourself. Right?
Yes, sir. So there are other questions from everywhere.
Wow. Okay. Where's this one?
Okay, so this one is from Instagram.
Okay.
He said, how do you handle the issue with the new tax law in connection with savings?
So I'm not a tax expert, right? But the tax law only impacts on your earnings once. That's what that also says. That's why they will say, even when someone dashes you money and there's a narration that it is a gift, they won't charge you tax on it. So if you earn 100,000 and you save 20,000 every month from the 100,000, the tax law only applies to the 100,000 that you've earned. On the premise of the tax laws, there's a way that is checked. But if you're saving 20,000 from that money and that money becomes 5 million tomorrow, they can't tax the 5 million again. No, they can't. That's your savings. It's money you earn that you are taxed on, not money you save. If you earn money, you earn even anywhere in the world, If you earn, the tax law applies to what you earned, not even what enters. Because I could dash you 100,000, even though you earn 100,000, I can gift you 100,000. The law does not tax the 100,000 I gifted you, because the one who gave you the gift has been taxed from the money from which he got the 100K to gift you. Does that make sense? So if I give you 100,000 and you show that there's a gift, it's in your account but cannot be taxed. If I give you 100 million to help me buy land, they cannot tax you, because it's for, I gave you the money to help me buy land, and once the narration is there that this is money for land purchase and you can prove it. That's why they said that the Nigerian law says that you are your first auditor. So it's what you report that they use. The 100 million that came is my brother that gave it to me to buy a land. Put in your report, that's all. Yeah, so if you earn 100,000 or you earn 1 million and you save 500K from it, the tax law applies to what you earn. But whatever you do with it is no longer taxed, including your savings. So if the money builds up to 20 million in the future, that cannot be taxed again. Yeah? From the little I know.
Yes, sir. So,
Another one.
yes, sir.
There's another one with the group chat.
That's it's long, sir. So another person asked that, can you elaborate more specifically on investing in gold?
No, I'm not a gold trader. Anyway, but like I said, I mean, I do encourage my wife, particularly, to invest in gold. So every now and then she just buys the gold. So gold is sold in grams, and the price does change per time, right? Or it keeps changing. So, and I know that she recently bought like a small earring store for. She bought it, then she gave it to my daughter, and she got it for like 200K. But it's real gold. It's weighed, and if you keep that gold now for another 1 year, you can sell it for like 350K. You know, and gold does not spoil. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like you say, okay, that's expired, or it's fading. It does not fade, it does not spoil. So even if your gold, let's say you're the kind of person that wears gold all the time, and you take a shower with your gold, and it changes color, if you carry it to them, they will repolish it for you. It's brand new. So gold is like diamond. It's here forever. Okay, so you can buy gold if you want to keep gold, and then sell them when you need to sell, because it will improve in value. Just that if you're living with people, be careful where you store it. That's all I would say. Be very careful how you store your gold, because you can keep buying and buying. It becomes expensive. So what you can do, if you're a lady, you can even buy some that you can use, then some you can keep. Once in a while, maybe you go for a wedding, you wear it. When you're back, you put it back. Like you wear, if you put a gold stud in your ear, no one will know that it's gold or the other, the other cheaper option. So it's those that sell gold and no gold. When you take it to them, you know, in Nigeria, gold does better than diamond. When I got married to my wife, I bought a diamond ring from the US, and then when we wanted to change the ring, we couldn't get a good deal in Nigeria here. It was when we went to Dubai that we were able to trade it off in Dubai for a gold ring. But in Nigeria, they prefer gold to diamonds, and then they also prefer the yellow gold, the whatever gold to white gold. Very important. So if you're, and there's white gold. So so there's white gold and there's the normal gold. Yeah, so the white gold doesn't do so well in Nigeria. So just take note. If you're buying gold, buy the normal gold. Yeah.
So another question. Okay, this lady says, I'm a business owner and I have so many things I want to do with money. And I also intend to save. For now, I don't really sell every day. And it's always hard for me to keep money or wait till I sell everything before I spend it. So I run on a loss most times. So my question is, if I sell in a day like 10,000 or 5,000, is it possible to save from the money that day, or I wait till I sell everything?
So this is typical to, just hold it as you're asking more questions. So this is typical to your, you see, like I said about myself, that when money enters my own hand, they will also happen. So I'm not good with money. I'm not good with holding money. So I put it into something very quickly. People have different temperaments. People have different ways that they handle money. And I said last month that you learn how to track money. So in your tracking of money, if you see that as it's coming, is going, that's what happens when you track it. If you know that's your issue, then I would say to you that when the first wave of sales come, put something aside. For someone like this who has problem, who knows herself that if I wait till month end, I will spend the whole money. So she knows herself already. So in that sense, to achieve the savings, when you get your first sales, if you want to put aside 5K, just put that aside from the first sales. Don't wait till the full sales by the month end. Yeah.
Okay, another one. Good afternoon, sir. My question is basically on people who buy grains and store to resell. So my question is it not better to buy and sell what is in season than buying to sell in the nearest period of time?
Yeah, so if you are buying what to sell in season, everybody will have it now. If it's in season, who is going to buy it? You can't get good value when it's in season. Egusi does not sell at a high value when it's in season. Palm oil won't sell in good value when it's in season, because when it's in season, it's affordable in the market. All the farmers bring their things to the market in season, right? So the real objective is to store till it's out of season. And it's just the same principle with Joseph. He began to sell when the thing had stopped producing the farmlands. So if you sell in season, you can get good value for it. There are a few things that you can sell in season, things like yam, that if you keep, they will spoil. So the goal of yam is to buy from the farmers cheaper and sell in the cities higher. So you can sell yams, cassava in season, but you can process cassava and sell out of season. Right? That is value chain. But for other grains like beans, they buy the beans, they put in jerry cans, and they tighten it, and they can keep and add some chemicals, preservatives, and can sell, out of season. But for the grain business, I know that the goal is to keep it to sell for out of season. Back in the day, when I was a teenager, I used to invest in honey. When I was like 18, 19 years old, I was very young. I gave the money to my aunt though to invest. She ate the money. She ate the money. But back then you can buy wild honey, because wild honey is very scarce right now. You can buy wild honey and it stays for a long time and sell in season and out of season. Yeah.
Okay, so last question from this end. He said, as a young investor in my early 20s and the first son with heavy family responsibilities, how do I set up my investments so that family emergencies don't force me to liquidate them? Is there a structure or mindset shift that protects my long-term wealth while still honoring my family?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm telling you what I've lived, and I teach it a lot of times, even to my loved ones. By God's grace, I have siblings who are doing well, but I also tell them to be careful how they respond to, all kinds of needs. Yeah, because write this down. Urgency does not validate a need. Urgency does not validate a need. That it looks urgent does not validate that it is a need. And most of the things that we respond to when it comes to our family members are urgencies, not necessities. Because they are urgent, they seem necessary. But they are not. It's a facade, right? Number two is that you are feeling this way only because you have it. If you don't have it, they will do without it. So, you need to understand that whatever it is that they are telling you, or it looks like you have to do, you are only thinking about doing it only because you have it. If you don't have it, I promise you, your family will do without it. Then number 3 is that whatever needs you are solving now is not as important as the needs you can solve for them in the future. And you need to have more to do more. Please, let this video go out to some people. You need to have more to do more. You have 100,000 naira now. Your family is asking that you give up 80,000 from that 100,000 by all their problems. If you give that money, the problems will not finish. And you will not have anything again to fall back in the future. You will still remain in a pseudo poverty state because you are giving all you have to help them now. They will still have that problem tomorrow. What if you keep what you have now, multiply it in the next 2 to 3 years? When you get there, you can give them 1 million and you will not shake. Which one is better? Because to my previous point, if you don't have it, they will do without it. So take what you have now, build it, grow it, improve it. And if you do so, in 2 to 3 years, you can do far more for you and for them. They won't die. Okay? Yeah. So those were from what platform?
From WhatsApp
Okay, so where else?
and Facebook.
Are we looking at Telegram at all? You are not, you are ignoring them.
Telegram.
Telegram
Yeah,
is
dropping
questions
on
and most of them.
Okay, they're dropping WhatsApp. Okay, so which other one now?
It's emergency form. Okay. So from Facebook, the person was asking that is emergency fund the same thing as I can touch account?
No. Yeah. So it's emergency fund.
The same as I can touch account.
Yes. So you get the idea now, right? So there's I cannot touch accounts. That one is there. Or I do not have account. Yeah. Then you have the I can touch account. That's the one that if something comes up, good or bad, you go there. You see what I'm saying? Something comes up, brrr, this one land I want to buy, or this one phone I want to buy. Or something comes up, emergency, your mom needs help, brrr, you go there. Then you don't have. Yeah, someone was asking that what if you don't have enough in that I can touch account? Then you don't have, because the other one is I do not have accounts. You see what I'm saying, right? Yeah. What is there? You don't have it. You don't have it. You don't have it. Except God forbid is a life and death situation. Which you know that 99.9% the things that take your money has nothing to do with life and death. All right, we have 5 more minutes. Please, we have to close.
Telegram is raising.
Telegram. Joy. Okay, so you want to John. Okay, John. Okay, John, you are allowed to speak. John, you can speak. If you can. Sorry? Allow. Okay, let me try from here. Allowed to speak. I've allowed him, I think. Okay, so is there anybody else?
Yes, another question on WhatsApp.
Yeah. We need to shut this down now. We have 10 more minutes to close, so let's give them TNGT announcement. So let's take one more question, then we can stop.
Okay. So this person is asking, how can a 9 to 5 professional transition into business?
Sorry, say that again.
How can a 9 to 5 professional transition into business while maintaining their jobs?
So that is not for this discussion. And I know we've done a lecture about that before. So in view of this, maybe we'll do another lecture called Mainstream and Many Streams. Go to our YouTube channel, you get your answer. Right? I've talked about this this is my it's something I teach a lot, multiple streams of income. And I've always thought that you can keep a job and run a business. I think even some 2-3 months ago, we had a class for that. All right, guys, thank you so much. We are so grateful. So I was saying earlier, number one, these classes may not happen every month. It may not. It may even be twice a month, and it may not be every month because my schedule has become so tight and so unpredictable sometimes. So I can't promise that every single month we can do this, but we'll have it as often as possible as God helps us. As God helps us. So please, if you don't see us posting flyers for every month, don't be offended. Don't think that we are forgotten about the class. It's just my schedule. And the way the class happens, because we are broadcasting on different platforms, I've got to be around the team. If it's something I can run just alone in any hotel room where I'm traveled to, I would have done it, but I need a team to be around with me because they help a lot. You see that they read the questions, they follow up on the charts and all that. I can't do all that by myself. So I've got some amazing people behind the scene here who do the great work that keeps this thing running. So I need to be around them. And many times I'm not around them because of my schedule and my work. So that would affect our monthly schedules. But we'll do our best to keep it as often as possible as God helps us. Number 2, TNGT 2026 is in view. Yay! So we are praying and trusting the Lord to start planning for the next great thing 2026. It will still be in Makurdi. All right, it's going to be in Makurdi, and we are looking at the month of July. Should I give a date now? No. So it's July. So they'll probably put a flyer out very soon. TNGT, let's do that. TNGT 2026 coming soon in the month of July. Anticipate, and maybe open. Are we doing registration? Did we do last time?
Yes.
We did, right? Yeah, so we can do that. So this is April, May, June. So maybe we can begin in May. But yeah, TNGT is coming back to Makurdi in July of this year, and it's going to be lovely. We are planning and praying and working around it. So please stay tuned. We'll share all the updates on the group. If you want to be a volunteer, let us know whether you're in Makurdi or not. We are also praying about taking TNGT to other cities. In view, we have. Okay, I won't call names. But we have other cities in view, right? As we plan, we'll let you know. All right, guys. Anything else? Yeah. So please follow up on the other videos on YouTube channel. A lot to learn. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. We love you guys so dearly. God bless you and see you in the next class. Ciao. Bye-bye. Thank God. So are we offline? Come on, log out to Auntie. Oh, you log it. Okay, use purple, not Apeh this time. Oh, okay, I guess. So you logged up, huh? Yeah, thank God. Wasn't short, it was 50 minutes.
It was more than because of the first.
No, I mean the lecture itself. The lecture itself was 50 minutes. The recap was like 30 minutes.
This conversation, but it's really very interesting. So people want to get to know more. That's why it's not looking like it's
A lot of questions.
Yes. Yeah. It's actually a very long class.
So I mean, we're just basically only about to half of the savings talk here. Because I'm saying that it might reach
But
like.
there's a video also on savings and investment.